or participate. There is a little bit of participation in this one, and there's some slides that actually you guys can read back and forth. So just be prepared for that. For some of you, obviously, you're on the phone. You probably can't see the slides, but if you're not on the phone, I please ask you to participate. So great. So our kickoff activities were all about your belief, right? We talked about it on Friday, about your story. So now we're going to talk about your belief and how you can succeed in your business. If you're really good at selling the products and the opportunity, the sky is the limit. While the word selling sometimes feels really weird to us, or we feel like we're not salespersons, right? It can feel kind of icky. Avon's approach to selling is all about making those connections and building those relationships. It's really about having conversations. It sounds super easy, right? So today we're going to learn about how we can create meaningful, sincere connections and sell the opportunity while doing it. In this seminar, we're going to discuss selling the opportunity. Just keep in mind that you can apply these same skills to selling products, and so can your team. And then also what I told you guys on Friday in our collaboration is you can also utilize these skills when coaching your team. So it all kind of goes full circle in conversational selling. So what we really want to go from being is opportunity takers to opportunity makers. So today in conversational selling, we'll really go over the first S in BOSS, which is selling, right? And then the GROW model. So G, R, O, and W, and what those mean. And I'm not going to read you the slide because we're going to get into it in really great detail. So we're talking about the first S in BOSS, which is naturally selling. You're probably thinking, well, selling the opportunity is also about outreach, right? Well, it is. You're right. So we're going to align the O in BOSS when we discuss planning. Planning comes after goal setting. So next we've got goal setting, then planning. So in the planning module, you'll plan who you want to reach out to and how you expand your network. This module is going to be solely focused on selling conversations and how to conduct them. So on your sales approach and your experiences as a customer, would any of you admit that you can be really timid or maybe passive, or have you ever had somebody, and so maybe it's not you, but I took you off mute. So maybe it's not you, but you've had somebody before that's been really timid or passive? Or maybe it is you. So they might sound something like this. I really enjoy working for Avon. Maybe we can chat one day about it, about what it can do for you. Have you ever had that happen? You might have uttered those same exact lines, right?
Yeah, I know I have.
You have? Okay. So how do you think being too timid or passive can make either a customer or a prospect feel? Or how does it make you feel when you have a salesperson that's like this?
They're unsure of their business.
Yeah, unsure.
Mm-hmm. You both said it, absolutely. So they're unsure of what's going on, right? They're maybe scared. They don't know what they're talking about. I mean, that's what you feel like, right? And then it can go the complete opposite way. So they could be really, really aggressive. And again, it could be you, or it could be an experience we've had before. But we hear this so much, right? Are you looking for an opportunity unlike any other? Are you seeking a social life that provides financial freedom? Well, then do I have the answer for you? I mean, how many times have you heard that? We also talked about it saying like, well, what would $26,000 do for you? Or what would $26,000 additional income do for you? I know that it could help you, right? So
Hmm.
what do you think it makes someone feel if they're overly aggressive? How do you feel, or how do you think you're making someone feel?
I don't like salespeople that are overly aggressive, too pushy.
Yeah, exactly. So you feel like you're being pushed, you feel like it's a scam, right? You almost feel like, oh, this is too good to be true, like no way. Or desperation. That's how I always feel. I would feel like, wow, this person's really desperate. They must really need to make the sale. So our goal in this module is to help you believe in yourself and have the confidence to build relationships and grow your business through easy conversations. If we accomplish our goal, your prospects will want to be part of your team and your customers will be drawn to your confidence. So it's about being confident and building that relationship. Deborah wrote too pushy too in the comments. So instead of being that pushy, salesy person or that very timid person who maybe doesn't know the business very well. Okay, so it's a good mix of both. So as you meet people and talk to people that you know, remember every conversation and the opportunity to grow your business. It might be an opportunity to sell like we talked about, or it might be an opportunity for to introduce them to the business, right? The letters in grow represent the 4 easy steps you should follow in every conversation. So now I'll get into it. So G is for getting to know the person and their needs. R is recommending the right Avon solutions. O is offering relatable stories to demonstrate your belief. Sounds familiar, right? And W is work to establish next steps. Breaking down the conversation into small, bite-sized chunks allows us to consider the importance of each one of these steps. Let's look at this in a little bit more depth. So G is all about getting to know the person and her needs. It's about starting the conversation, whether it's with someone you've known for a really long time, or maybe it's just a chance encounter with a complete stranger. Once you get talking, you'll have to dig deeper to uncover these needs and wants. It's really important to understand what this person wants and needs so that you can help them see how the Avon solution can help them later on. So let's take a look, maybe. There we go. Let's take a look. So there's opportunities that cross our paths every day to start conversations with people we don't know. We call them those chance encounters, right? And it's just showing you some pictures up here of some places you may have had chance encounters before. So does anybody want to share when your last chance encounter was and kind of that story? Where was it? How'd you initiate the conversation? And then what came of it?
Jessica, I'm in.
I saw you jump on, Miriam. Thank you.
Okay.
Anybody want to share?
I will. This is Deborah.
Hi, Deborah. Thank you.
One of the things I usually do is if they have like a piece of jewelry or an outfit or something, I compliment them on it and say how beautiful it looks, where did they get it, and it's like an icebreaker for me because I'm shy in certain areas, so starting up conversations is really I guess hard for me sometimes. But if I do something like that, or I wear buttons, and that usually helps strike a conversation with them as well.
Great. So has there been one recently where you can really, tell us what the outcome was, whether it was, maybe you signed somebody up or it was a sale?
It was a sale. I'm still working on how to start the conversation as far as the the Avon opportunity, but I received a new customer just by talking to them, talking about they were talking to me about how their skin felt, and then I was able to recommend something. So I got a new customer out of it.
That's fantastic. And I hope this module really helps you get more comfortable too with starting that conversation and being able to then bridge to the opportunity, because it will. That's what this whole module is about. So, but I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. So I'm sure we can all think of experiences that we've had with chance encounters where it's a customer or maybe a new person on your team, but some other places where you've had chance encounters. Some of the places I know that, I hear a lot are networking events, birthday parties, happy hour, of course, the mall, right? Your grocery store, you might have a block party. The businesses with waiting areas, I literally hear on a daily basis. So like the dentist's office, the doctor's office, retirement homes and communities, things like that. Is there any other places that we need to know about that you guys have a really, really, good luck with finding people that I didn't mention?
Sometimes the beauty shop is a good place.
Yes, Jackie, the beauty shop is a great place. The nail salon, the beauty shop, all of those, right? Yeah, we didn't.
I have the Michelle shirt that has the butterflies on it
Mm-hmm.
with lots of colors, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting a lot of comments on that when I wear it. So sometimes it helps if you have on Avon products and people ask you about them.
Well, we're going to actually get into that. So you're right. We're going to get into that and what Deborah talked about too. So, oh, Deborah says she does an event every week at her local nail salon. So there you go, the beauty parlors, right? The nail salons. Love
This
it.
is Ada.
Hi, Ada.
This is Hi. How you doing?
Good.
The flea market. I usually go to the flea market on Saturdays, and what I done was I printed some of the Kickstart flyers, and I passed those out. And I didn't get anybody to sign up Saturday, but I did get names and emails so I can follow up that's thinking about signing up.
Great. We also have a great earnings chart too with the new incentives on it. It's got the rapid promotion and the bronze leader promotion on it. If Tracy hasn't shared it with you, I'll make sure that you get it. I'll let her know
Okay.
because that might be something good to pass out too, because that shows the $26,000 in the first 6 months for new representatives. So, yeah, well, awesome. Thank you guys.
Okay.
I love all the sharing. I'm going to mute you again really quick just because I'm getting the reverb. So it's important to have that easy way of starting the conversation. And we talked a little bit about this, so you guys are going to hear me repeat a little bit of what you said. So we have a couple of good options to connect with someone. The first is to find that common ground and ask open-ended questions to get them talking. So just for example, say you're in a long line at the grocery store. You might say, wow, this line is so long. Who has time for this? Once they respond in agreement, you could ask another question to get them talking. So, how would you rather be spending your time? Wow, great. Another one is just let's say you're on the PTA committee, right? And someone you don't know at the PTA meeting, you might start a conversation with them. So you might say, wow, I feel like I'm forever at the PTA, with 3 kids. How about you? How long have you been on the PTA? And then again, when they answer again, you can say something to follow up like, life is such a juggling act. How do you manage everything? Perfect. And then the second option is to compliment someone, which we heard on the call today. So fantastic. So, yes, this is my favorite way. So, I can tell you from coming from the retail world, whenever someone came into my store, I always started with a compliment. And you want the compliment to be sincere. You also want it to be organic to you. So, you can't say the same compliment to everyone, right? It really needs to be that sincere conversation that you're having with someone. So here's just an example, and I would never say somebody looks sharp, but you might. But I would say something like, wow, you look really beautiful. And then after you respond, what do you do? You could say, wow, you look really beautiful today, or wow, you look really put together. I love what you're wearing. What do you do for work? And then you could follow up with something like, how do you like it? And I'm not going to ask this next question that's on my slide because we already talked about it. It says, has anyone ever started a conversation with a compliment? Well, we know, and I'm sure you all have, right? But we know from Deborah that that's one of her favorite ways to get the conversation started. And then Jackie actually said, I sometimes also wear the clothes and accessories. So that's a follow-up to it. So yeah, being your own walking billboard, right? Sharing the wearing the buttons, like I think Deborah said. So you've got the buttons on, you've maybe got earrings on. You also want to just make sure that you're always, like, I think Jackie said it right, you wear the did Jackie say that you wear the here, I'll unmute you, I muted you guys, that you wear the butterfly shirt, right? And you've been getting a ton
Right.
of compliments on it. Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
you guys hear it all the time. You wear the bling, you wear things that are Avon, you wear the makeup. I mean, I've even had people come up to me and be like, "Wow, you have beautiful skin. What do you use?" And I'm like, "Whoa." That could be a compliment that you use to get somebody to, "Wow, oh my gosh, I'm just admiring you have such beautiful makeup on," or "Your skin is so pretty. What are you using?" And I don't think we think about that, but think about, you know, that would really make my day if somebody came up to me and said like, "Wow, your makeup looks really good today. What are you using?" We don't hear that a lot, and I don't think we compliment each other enough. So that really helps you learn more and get the conversation started. So in all conversations, whether with people you just meet or people you already know, it's really important to ask those open-ended questions to get to know their needs and their wants. By knowing what's important to a person, you'll be able to share how the opportunity can make a difference to them in their life. And this is one of my favorite um, quotes that they put in here is be interested, not interesting. So I think that says it all, right? Really listen with questions instead of talking all the time. So here's just some examples of those questions. Oops. So just some open-ended questions. So how's your job going? Or what do you do? How do you like it? How do you do it managing a family and career? What do you think is the hardest part of staying home with your kids? Why do you like to volunteer on the PTA? If you could change your situation, what would you change? Which is probably one of my favorites. So, if you could change something, what would it be? Or if you could change the situation you're in right now, what would you change? Because that really opens up the floodgates, right, to building that relationship. So, digging deeper, once you ask a good open ended question, I just need to look at time. Okay, once you ask a good open-ended questions, it's important to dig deeper to find out what matters. We call this listening again with more questions. So again, being interested, not interesting. Here are some good examples of follow-up questions you can use to dig deeper. If you find out what someone really wants is to make new friends, you can dig deeper by saying, why is making more friends important to you? If you find out what they want is more flexibility, you could say something like, what would more flexibility in your day mean to you? If you find out that they want more money, you can dig deeper with, what would more money mean to your family? And you want to do this all the time, but really digging deeper, really practicing those open-ended questions because they're hard. We a lot of times will start a conversation with close-ended questions, yes or no's, right? And there's nowhere to go after that. Do you guys have any good open-ended questions that you like to use on a regular basis? If you don't,
Oh, wow. What is that fragrance you are wearing?
oh, great. How would you dig deeper to find out more about that person? Oh, it's passion.
Oh, so what company is that packing with?
It's with Elizabeth Arden. I don't remember.
Oh, well, how about if I can find you something that matches that fragrance, but maybe a little bit cheaper? Would you be interested in that?
No.
Oh, well, what I'm gonna do is I'm just hand you my card, and if you change your mind, you can always give me a call. But thanks for talking with me.
Great. Was that Melanie? Thank you, Melanie, for
Yes,
doing that. Do you see where Melanie's last question was what? Do you know what kind of question it was? It was close-ended.
Okay.
So I said no, right? And I didn't mean to do that to her because I love her and I'm so glad that she actually did that on this call. But that's a lot of what we're doing, right? So we're not saying like, what do you love about that fragrance? Has anyone ever asked you before, or has anyone ever told you before that that smells so beautiful? Do you wear it every day? What do you do? Those kind of things. It takes a lot of practice to not ask a closed-ended question because I find myself doing it all the time too. So It's really about getting to know them. Yes, she started with a compliment. It was fantastic. She started to dig deeper, and you guys are going to get there because we're going to continue to practice and we're going to continue to role model how to start these conversations. Speaking of, we're actually going to have an example of a conversation. So we've got Sally, and Sally actually, she's an Avon leader, and Sally met Sarah. You could see them on your screen. Sally met Sarah at a spin class and asked her to have coffee. So can somebody be Sally, who's the leader? Sally's on my left, on your left. And then can somebody be Sarah, who is on the right-hand side of the screen in the white dress? Do I have a
Guys,
volunteer?
I'm gonna go. Love y'all.
Love you, thanks. Have a good day at work. So can somebody be Sally on the left and somebody be Sarah on the right? And you're going to read the slides. So you have to be able to see the slides in order to participate.
I'll be Sally.
Jackie, you're the best. All right. So Jackie, Sally, who wants to be Sarah?
I'll be Sarah.
Ada, okay, perfect, awesome. So I'll put it up on the screen. Just read it, and you're going to have some other opportunities to read. But if you don't want to, you just let me know, and I will pick somebody else because you guys volunteered. So go ahead and start, Jackie.
Hi, Sarah. Happy Friday. I am so glad we could connect for coffee.
Me too. That spins class is awesome. We have too much fun. It is a great stress release.
I am with you. I feel great after every class. Did I hear you say that you have 3 kids, one of which is in college? I have only one little guy. I feel like I can hardly keep my head above water.
Yes, that's right. I also have a crazy dog, and my 2 boys are on a traveling soccer team. I spend my weekends
Schlepping. Yeah, I know. Don't ask me.
schlepping
Schlepping.
them all over the place.
I don't envy you there. What else causes you stress?
Oh gosh, I work from home as a book editor. I spend my days on the computer with very little interaction. I need to correct with a human. I need to connect with a human over the age of 14.
I get it. If you could create the life you dream about, what would that life look like?
I will have less stress. I will have lots of friends to hang out with, and I would have plenty of money to help pay for my daughter's college and travel. I love experiencing new places.
Great. So you can see how this is really building, right? This is building their conversation. This is really starting to get in there, dig deeper. She's finding out a lot about Sarah, right? So we're going to keep going.
Not Avon, just friendship.
I can hear you talking, Miriam.
So, Sarah, why do you feel being connected and having friends are important for you now?
Oh, sorry.
Since my divorce, I have felt so isolated. We had to move to a new area, and I have not felt up to finding new friends.
I totally understand. I am divorced and have felt the same way when I went through it. You mentioned that you would love to have more money to help pay for college and travel more. What would it mean to you if you had more money for these things?
Well, first, I would feel relieved that my daughter will not graduate from college with a loan or debt. I didn't I I didn't want her to have that level of stress at such a young age. Also, by having more money to travel, I could fulfill my lifelong dreams of visiting Europe.
Okay, great. So, how do you guys feel about that? Does this seem a little bit different than the conversations that you're having now? How do you think
Mm,
Sarah's feeling?
yes. Hmm.
Yeah, so how do you
Yes,
think?
because
Go ahead.
you get into a friendly conversation, you're not going directly to what your interests are.
Perfect. Yeah, so Sarah is
Hmm.
feeling like Sally's really interested in her, right? And she really cares about her.
Yeah.
She's like, wow, I really want to get to know you. And that really makes you, that feels good because not a lot of people in this day and age are going to take the time to really want to try to get to know you, right? So this is a new friend. So
Hmm.
do you think this information can help Sally sell Sarah the opportunity?
Yes. Hmm.
Yeah, I think so, right?
Yeah.
We've got a lot. She wants to go to
Yeah.
Europe. She needs to get out of debt. She wants to meet new people. She's got a lot of stuff going on, right? That we can be like, all right, we can do this.
Hmm. Hmm.
Wonderful. So let's get into R now. So now that we've dug deeper, we started the conversation, right? If you're selling the products, it's important to determine that right solution for the customer based on their needs. We're going to talk to you about the 3 C's when recommending that right Avon solution. So there's the 3 C's. There's clarify, communicate, and connect the dots. So you want to clarify their needs, communicate the right solution, which we know is always the Avon solution, right? And then connecting the dots, sharing how the solution meets her needs and her wants. You can see that you can't do these steps unless you get to know her needs and wants, the G. So you got to get through the G before you can get to the R. So make sure you spend some time really getting to know her before you try to recommend the opportunity because it's hard to do. We said it can sound aggressive, it can sound timid, right? If we don't know somebody. So let's talk about the first C, clarify her needs and wants. You might be wondering why you do this. Didn't you just reveal that in the conversation the last time you talked with her? Believe it or not, the steps are very, very important. If you do clarify their needs and wants before you recommend the solution, you're going to be able to make sure you really understand what their needs and wants are. You're never assuming anything. And I think that's what we all do a lot, right? We always assume that somebody needs more money, and that's where we go automatically, right? Possibly identify additional needs or wants. Make sure her needs and wants have not changed if you had a prior conversation with them since then. And then, just like Sally and Sarah just demonstrated, she's going to then, or he is going to then feel heard, feel important. They're more apt to listen to you, right? And what you have to say. So once you confirm their needs and wants, you can share the solution and how it will help them. Here we have an example of some verbiage that you can use as a structure for your recommendation. This is just obviously a structure. You want to make it as casual as you want it. You need to have your own words, right? But basically, in the communicate and the connecting the dots, you're saying, given your reason, need, want, I recommend Avon because it's going to do this. So then saying what those benefits are. And we're going to look at that now. Do you guys still want to be Sally and Sarah? This one's not as bad, but then there's one that's long.
Sure.
Okay, you're the best. Go ahead.
Sure. It sounds like you would love to connect with some new people and make some extra money to help you pay for your daughter's college and travel. Is that right?
Yes, I would love to do that.
Here's a long blurb. Sorry,
You
Jackie.
should join my team as an Avon representative. You can make new friends and be part of a great group of women. The ladies on my team are fabulous. Everyone supports each other and has a lot of fun. You would love them. As a rep for Avon, you can also earn extra money for your daughter's college and for cool trips. You can help her avoid stress when she graduates, and you can take that dream trip to Europe. Who doesn't want to have fun with friends and make money at the same time?
Great. Awesome. So you just really demonstrated, right, as Sally, that you listened to Sarah's needs and wants, and you just reiterated everything she wants and why she should join Avon. It's really powerful if you're really listening and then you're saying it back to them and what it can do for them, right? So you
That's one
don't.
of the first things that you learn about
Mhm.
listening, that it's very important to repeat it back to the
Yeah.
person you're talking to.
Yes. And you guys will hear me say it as we go through coaching. You're going to hear me say things like, so what I'm hearing you say, and it's not only because I need to clarify it in my head, it's because I want to make sure that's really what you're talking about, right? I want to make sure you know that's really what you're talking about. So, yeah, it's really a big deal. You can't tell someone the benefits of what it's going to do for them until you relay back to them what they just told you, right? And then explain those benefits. Love it. Great, guys. Thank you so much. So once you recommend that solution, you then want to offer relatable stories. That's the O in grow. So sharing your belief. It's really important to relate to that person as you build this relationship by sharing your story or someone else's story. I am getting so much reverb. Can everybody put themselves on mute, and then if you talk, just take yourself off, because oh, there we go. I keep muting you and somebody keeps coming back off. So it's really important to relate those and build the relationship by sharing your story or someone else's, or maybe a couple stories. You can see how that impacts you and others. Stories really illustrate how the solution can make a difference for the person, right? So sharing your belief, here's the four chambers of the heart. It looks familiar, right? We just did it in the kickoff module. So really think about your story when talking to a prospect that can make you relate to her. And then this is the big thing. Always think of this. If you know someone else's story relates better, then share that one too. I mean, you still want to let them in and let them know about you, but let's say they suffer from like domestic violence or something like that, and you want to talk about Rhonda Voss's story. We talked about Rhonda on Friday, so that's why I'm just bringing her out. It may be somebody on your team who also is a stay-at-home mom, and this person's a stay-at-home mom. You can take her story and tell it as well. So just always have, know, well, that's really where it gets to knowing your team too, right? So you want to know your team so that you're able to share their stories, because you're going to find that one of them may relate better to these people than you do. I'm going to take you all off mute. So great. So relatable stories. Avon's worked for me and my team members. I can think it can work for you too. Let me tell you what has worked for me and others like you. So here's Sally. I'm not going to make Jackie read it. I'm going to read it to you. I totally understand how you feel when you say you need to connect with new friends. When my son went to kindergarten, I was totally lost. My whole life had revolved around him and his needs, and I had very few friends. That's when I found Avon. Avon gives me a reason to connect with new people, and it gives me something to talk about beyond my son and his needs. I absolutely love it. I've made so many new friends. You remind me a lot of Suzanne. Suzanne's actually my sister-in-law. She pulled me aside a few years ago and was interested in learning more about Avon. Every year, Suzanne takes a trip with her girlfriends. My brother always complains because they really can't afford it. Suzanne refuses to give up her girl time, so she was looking for something to help her pay for the trips herself. She found that Avon gave her the opportunity to not only pay for the trips, but to also have more girl time with new friends. I really believe that Avon might be the right opportunity for you. Do you see the story? And I'm sure you guys, I mean, as you went through this last module and as you continue to have the one-on-ones with your coach over the next couple of weeks, you'll really talk about, how you were sharing your story and what that's doing for you. And you'll perfect your story too, and then also be able to identify those people on your team that you can share their stories as well. It's a good story, right, though? So she shared hers, and then she shared Suzanne's. Can you guys think of people's stories that you've shared before, or people that you think you probably will utilize on a frequent basis going forward? I took you off of mute, by the way. Oh, Lisa Wilbur. Oh my gosh, don't we all, right? What a great story. Thanks, Deborah. Yeah. So Lisa Wilbur, I said Rhonda. I'm sure some of you are thinking her. Again, somebody on your team who, even Melanie, I know she got off the call, but Melanie was able to, she really needed to buy a new car. She didn't have a car when she moved down here. And so Avon was able to help her buy a car. What if that's somebody's need? You can use Melanie's story. You're going to find that you hear from people too that you're sharing with on these calls, where you're going to start to hear their story and learn their story and be able to utilize them as well. So once you talk through the G, R, and O, you should work to establish next steps, which is the W. It's important to always ask your prospect to join your team and then establish next step based on how she responds. I call it the close, okay? Because that's what it is. In sales, it's the close. Don't be scared because I'm saying closing. But a lot of you on your competency said that you were challenged or inconsistent with the close. So this is the close. Guess what? It's a lot easier to do if you know this person. So here's a couple examples of some of the working to establish next steps. So just simply saying, why don't we get you started? Honestly, I would love to have you on my team. How can we make it happen? What additional information do you need to get started? So maybe you're feeling like, oh, they might need a little bit more. They're not sure, right? What additional information, if any, can I provide to help you determine if Avon opportunity is right for you? Are there any other ways you can just ask for your team ask them to be on your team confidently without just saying, hey, join my team? I mean, I like the first one. Why don't we get you started? Hey, we just determined that this is such an amazing next step for you, right? We just talked about all the benefits that you're going to get from this. Let's get you started. And as I'm saying this, if you have your application guide out, good time to start filling it in. Because really that's what it's asking you to get more questions, more open-ended questions, digging deeper in the application guide. So I call it a confident close. I also call it a politely aggressive close. Just for me, you want to exude confidence. You want to let them know you can help them and this is the right solution for them, right? But you also don't want to be so aggressive that you turn them away. So you just really want to be like, you're amazing. I can't wait to get you started. Let's do this, right? And then after she says, yes, what are you going to do? So you have to be prepared for all the outcomes because it's going to go one of these ways, right? So it's either going to be a yes. So you need to be prepared. What are you going to do if she says yes? How are you going to get her started? Are you ready to do this? Did you make a positive first impression? What if you hear a maybe? So maybe share your story again. Help her see benefits more clearly. So maybe reiterate the benefits. And then what if you hear an obstacle? You can use more questions to dig deeper to understand. Once you dig deeper, you want to respond again with, you sometimes need to close them a couple times, right? So you need to be like, great. So did I answer all the questions you had? What other questions can I answer for you? And you may have to go into some, deeper things with Avon, right? You may have to show them the website, or you may have to, talk about earnings with them or go through the Kickstart program. And then if you hear a no, it's okay. You're going to hear no, right? It's not a big deal. It's okay. So ask if the person knows anyone else that might be interested. So you're getting a referral. Okay. So yay. Discuss other opportunities that we have. Products, they could become a customer, they may have a need or know somebody with a need for a fundraiser. And then always stay connected. So you can connect via social media, or you may just become lifelong friends. You never know, even if they were a no, right? Or they might come back down the line. Any other things you guys can think of that help you overcome objection or obstacles? Great. So no matter what the outcome, it's important that you, again, have those next steps established. Based on their level of interest, recommend the next step that feels appropriate. A lot of times, too, in those next steps, we'll do things like invite them to an opportunity meeting. You want to just have the expectation. So setting that you're going to be calling them back in a couple days, you want to have a roadmap, really. So the roadmap really looks like this. So set a time, right? And don't be surprised they're not going to be surprised then by you actually calling them, because you said, I'm going to call you in 2 days, right? So you want to make sure you call them. So whatever that may be, it may be in a formal check-in. Maybe you're going to have coffee like Sally and Sarah did. I love that one. Maybe you've invited them to the next team meeting or opportunity meeting or Zoom meeting because they wanted more information. So you just want to make sure that you're, again, setting those expectations and letting them know when you're going to be contacting them or what they're being invited to. So here's an example of that. So it feels like you're still mulling this over. Why don't you sleep on it? Think about it, any potential concerns or questions, and we connect again in 2 days. How do you prefer to be contacted? I prefer text or phone. So Sarah's like, I want you to either text me or call me. Fantastic. Let me add you now. So this is where I also think the practice comes in. So let me add you now. When we connect later this week, we can determine if you think you would be worthwhile to grab coffee. She's fantastic and reminds me of you. So I'm sharing somebody else's story who I want her to connect with. We could also have you attend our team meeting if you'd like that. Great, talk to you soon. So she set the expectation. She's letting her know she's contacting her. If she wants to, she can have coffee with Kelsey. And then I'm inviting her to the team meeting. It's similar to when you set those SMART goals. It's important to be specific. When you establish the next steps, the prospect will appreciate the clarity and your effort to help them, okay? So again, she feels heard. She feels like you're there for her, like you're helping. And then after all of this, the fortune is in the follow-up, right? So have you guys ever said you're going to call somebody in a couple days and then not called them? Not you guys, right? You all do what you say you're going to do. You always call, always text.
That is one of my pet peeves. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I do it.
Good. So yeah, and it takes scheduling it, right? Especially, I mean, what if you're out talking to those 5 people a day, 5 days a week? You might have to schedule some of them because you're not going to remember to call all of them in 2 days or all of them in 24 hours. So they're not sitting by the phone waiting for you to call, but I guarantee if you tell them you're going to call them on Wednesday and they don't get a call from you, they're going to remember it and then they're never going to talk to you again. Because though they're not sitting waiting for your call, they're expecting you to call. So here's some hashtag follow-up fails, right? So not following up at all. We just addressed that one. Connecting through Twitter when they requested text, email, or Facebook. So maybe not listening to them and what they're saying, not offering up anything of value. So when you call them, text them, email them, their time's important and so is yours. You want to have something valuable to discuss with them. So whether it be, hey, I'm calling you because I know you had some more questions. I wanted a quick run through the Kickstart program with you. Or I just want to let you know we actually have a team meeting on Thursday. I thought you would love to come. It's at 7 p.m. Works for you, here's where it is, that kind of thing. Not adjusting your plan of attack. So again, not, being adaptable to if things come up for them and then rescheduling. And then this is my favorite. So the infinite follow-up. So how many times is enough, right? Sometimes you just have to cut your losses and focus on those prospects that might actually turn into high-performing team members. So there comes a time when you just need to ask, are you in or are you out? And at what point do you cut your losses? So, I mean, I'm not saying maybe you completely cut them off. Maybe you try to call them again in, 2 months. But do you guys have anything set into stone where if you contacted somebody so many times, then you just cut it? Do you have a schedule? Of I contact people by text, email, Facebook, phone, and then at some point I just say forget it?
3 strikes and you're out.
Great. And this is
Well,
completely, yes, go ahead, Miriam.
Yeah, if they don't answer the phone, you try 2, 3 times, and that's a good sign too.
Great, especially if you've never spoke to them. So let's say, I like Jackie's 3 strikes, you're out. So let's say you've tried every mean of communication over the last week and you've still never heard back from them. probably time to cut your losses. It's going to look different for everybody, though. You may have talked to somebody 6 months ago and they weren't interested, but you actually spoke to them and there was reasoning. You may call them 6 months from now and they might sign up. Everybody's why changes, right? We've heard that a million times. But yeah, if you continuously keep trying and they're not, I mean, you have to cut your losses. You can't waste your time. So grow your business like a boss. So here's some reasons and things that you'll notice are happening if you're really seriously rocking it out and you're doing awesome and like you've practiced a lot. These conversations are gonna start to feel natural, less salesy, and very sincere. You're gonna see them visibly like sit back and like start to listen, and you'll know you're compelling. They'll start leaning in, nodding, like, yeah, tell me more. You'll get 15 minutes or more of information being shared with you. Well, that never happens, right? That's like great, but that's because you shared your story. They feel like you're their friend. They're going to share now. And then they're eager to talk to you. They want the follow-up. They're eager to see what those next steps are. And never forget this, guys. Really, seriously, practice makes perfect. It's okay to fake it till you make it. It's okay to fumble through these conversations until they get easier for you and more organic. It's fine. It's going to happen. At least you're trying, right? You know, three months from now, it's going to feel like second nature to you, where now it might feel like a little bit awkward to just go up and start talking to somebody. So great. So now, anybody have any questions so far?
No.
Good.
I will add this.
Yeah.
I have also sent a postcard with my contact information to leads that I could not contact. And I feel like if I do that, that I have done everything I can possibly do. And Avon is a two-way street.
Yep.
So, and, you know, they have my information, and, you know, sometimes people will get back to you and say they're no longer interested, or they have multiple problems going on in their family. But that is an option, and it is, to me, it saves time.
Okay.
So I do like, and I know Sandy has done that in the past. I have several people that have done that.
Do you guys, because it's so personal, because I find that very personal that you're sending that out. I love it. I think it's great. Have you gotten any positive response from it?
No.
Not a lot.
Okay. No. I just wondered if it was worth it, to you, if you're seeing.
It's not worth it. It's a waste of money.
Miriam, what's a waste of money? The postcards?
Yep.
Yeah, you've tried it? Yep. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So it may work.
Well, I have to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
I am a prime example of, I was contacted multiple times by a lady that she was my paper carrier about selling Avon, and I always said no to her. And then one day I had a issue where I really needed money, and I called her up and said, I'm ready to sign up. So yeah, I don't believe in totally, you know, I want to leave the door open in case people's lives change.
Yeah. And I love that. And you do never know. You could make somebody's day just by sending that postcard. But again, it has to be right for you and your business. Like to Miriam's point, she doesn't want to invest in that, right? Cynthia's saying that at the same time. We invested in it, no responses. So you're going to hear different things. And it's fine. That's why we're here.
I did it for years. I did it for years. I could say maybe 3 or 4 years. And it never worked, and nobody ever called me back.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So
again,
so
you tried for a long time. It didn't work for you. For Jackie and Sandy, they feel like it's a personal connection. They have a personal connection to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's completely up to you and your business. Great ideas, though. Fantastic.
Yeah. Oh yes.
I'm leaving the call.
Great.
This is Ada. I'm leaving the call. I got to go back to work.
Ada, I can hear you. I'm going to mute you. I muted you. Okay, so here's the application guide. Again, I'm not going to go over it. Sometimes I go over it in really great detail. This one is not one you need to go over. We just talked for an hour about everything that's on here. It does not need to be gone over in all this detail. It's literally, what I do want you to know is that very first section where it says get to know the person and her needs. I've had people do this all different ways. So it can either be a real live situation that you've had in the past. It can be one that you have in between now and the time you do your application guide, or it can be something completely made up. So there's no pressure to make it anyway. Now, if it is a real situation, I will go into it in further detail with you and ask you like how things, played out, what happened next, what were your questions. I will dig deeper with you to see how that conversation went, but feel free to do it any way you choose. I'll just ask you, was this an actual conversation or was this just a made up thing that you're doing? Bye, Deborah. We're finishing up anyway, guys, so no problem. If people have to get up, I get it. This is a long one, so they usually do take up about the whole hour. Has anybody looked this over and had any questions on it? I just want to make sure there's no questions. And obviously, if you have a question, you can feel free to contact me. Great, I'm going to move on then. So here's the hot topic question. So some of you did who's the most interesting person you know and why last time on the collaboration call. So if you answered this question last time, then do your who's your hero and why. And if you did who's your hero and why last time, then do this one for this next time. Just let us know when you go to talk about it. So this will be the collaboration call. It's not this coming Friday, but the next Friday. We are going to have to reschedule it because I will be in Columbia for the lab workshop. So let me just get a consensus on the call right now. Does everybody want to collaborate at 2 p.m. that day, or does everybody want to switch it until the evening, Thursday evening of the 8th? And if I'm not making sense, I'll say it again. So our next...
Thursday evening works for me.
Okay, Thursday evening for you. Anybody else prefer?
I'm fine with either.
Okay.
I really prefer Thursday evening. Then Fridays are really busy for me.
Right. I actually prefer Thursday evening for that one if you guys can, because I would have to stay in Columbia longer and I'd like to drive back. It's Friday. I'd like to get home. So if we can do Thursday evening.
Thursday.
Can we, I wonder what's too late. Can we do, I can do anything after 5 o'clock. So my schedule is freed up at 5. So
7, 8.
You want to have it that late because you're working? You want to do it at 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. Thursday the 8th?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Sound good to everybody else?
I prefer to do it at 7 rather than at 8.
I would too, because I'm in early.
7. Yeah.
7 is good. Okay. So I'm going to send that out next Monday, but we'll just do it a day early if that's okay. And things will come up like this. Like I'll be on vacation sometimes. You guys might. It's okay. It's okay. But let's do it Thursday evening, and I'll send that out to everybody. So no questions on the application guide. Everybody feels good?
Yeah, everybody good.
Good. So we're all set. So here's the GROW model again. So it's those 4 easy steps. If you memorize each of them and prepare each of them and then practice, GROW will help you grow your business. So it truly will help you get more comfortable with conversational selling and really, really, really building these relationships if you practice. So perfect. Everybody good?
Good, thank you.
Great. Well, everybody have a wonderful week. If I have one-on-ones with you this week, and Miriam, I don't need to reschedule for Friday now because I don't have the workshop anymore. I'm going to say it one more time. I know I sound like a broken record, but no workshop in Charlotte this Friday the 2nd. It has been canceled and rescheduled. It will be March 16th, same time, same place.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
Wonderful, everybody. Well, thank you so much.
You.
Have a wonderful rest of the week. If you need anything, give me a call, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Bye. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.